Welcome to the 30th chapter, the book of Genesis. Bilhah bears Dan and Naphtali. Begins in verse 1. Idhusa, they, Rachel, otiu, tetoke, to Yaakov. And Rachel saw that she had not borne to Jacob. Very similar to what happened with Sarah and Rachel not being able to bear. Ke azilo se Rachel tin adelphin aftis, and Rachel envied her sister, zelo, a zealot. It's a derivative for that, 2206. Adelphin, Adelphia, Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, or sisterly love in this case. Ke ipe to Yaakov, and she said to Jacob, Thos me tekna, in the imperative, give to me a child. Eithe me, teleftiso ego, and if not, I will come to an end. And the imperative should probably be over here, maybe. Thimothis, they, Yaakov, ti Rachel. And Jacob, being enraged with Rachel, Ipen avti, said to her, so now we have a family quarrel here. Mi antitheu ego imi, os astiris se carpon kilias. Am I not, or I am not in place? Am I not in place of God? Anti, instead of God, theos, theology, who deprived you of the carpon, carpophores, a fruit-bearing plant, of the fruit of the belly. Verse 3, Ipe they Rachel to Yaakov, and Rachel said to Jacob, Idhu, Ipaithiski mu vala, behold, my maidservant Bilhah, vala in the Greek, it's pronounced. Iselthe prosaftin, enter to her. So the same thing with Sarah, Hagar, and here we have the surrogate taking the place of the woman who can't have the child. Ke texate epi ton gonaton mu, and she will bear upon my knees. And that's apparently how women delivered children. They sat on another woman's knees. Ke teknopisome kago ex avtis, and even I will produce children from her. Kago, it's a ke ego. K is and, it's all over every place, and K. You'll find it almost every verse. And ego, the ego, I. Even I, from her. Verse 4, Ke etoken avto valan, she gave Bilhah to him. Tin paidhiskin avtis avto gineka, her maidservant to him as wife, the gineka, gini, gynecology. I should have highlighted that word right there. Ke isilthe prosaftin Yaakov, and Jacob entered to her. So we have polygamy going on here. Ke, verse 5, Sinelave vala ipaithiski Rachel, and Bilhah, the maidservant of Rachel, conceived. Ke etika to Yaakov Eon, she bore to Jacob a son. Well, not only do we have polygamy, but we also have incest in this early period of time of marrying a first cousin. And then surrogates, certainly not something we do today, but yet this was the way it was at that time. And Jesus said, because of our weaknesses, these things have happened, more or less. And paraphrasing, he was talking when they came and asked about divorce. It wasn't that way from the beginning. Ke ipe Rachel, and Rachel said, Ekrine me o theos, God judged me, ke epikuse tis phonis mu, and he heeded my voice. Ke edoke me ion thea tuto, and he gave me a son through this one. And thea tuto ekalasa to onoma avtu than, and on account of this she called his name Onoma, Dan. We have the thea twice. Here it's through, and here on account of. A lot of it has to do with the context he gave to me a son on account of this one. I suppose you could write that. And through this one, she called his name, but on account of makes more sense here. On account of this, she called his name Dan. Verse 7, Ke sineleven eti vala ipaidhiski Rachel. And Bilhah, the maidservant of Rachel, conceived again. Ke etiken ion thevteron to Yaakov, the Deuteronomy, the second book of the law, Deutero. Ke, verse 8, Ke ipe Rachel, sina lava to me o theos. Rachel said, God aided to me. Ke sina strafin ti adelphimu. And I was twisted by my sister. So these two sisters are going at it with the same husband. Wow, what a mess. Ke idhin nasdhin, and I was able. I was twisted by my sister, and I was able. I won. I succeeded. Ke akalase to onoma avtu Nephthalim, and she called his name Naphtali. In verse 9, Hide de Leah oti esti tu tiktin, ke eleve zelfan tin paidhiskin aftis. Well, Leah's not going to have any of this. Her sister's gaining honor. So, and Leah saw that she stopped bearing, and she took Zilpah, her maidservant, ke edelken aftin to Yaakov gineka, and gave her to Jacob as wife. So now Jacob is being used like a pawn in a chess piece, having these intercourse with all these women and children. Ke sineleve zelpha ipaidhiski leas. And Zilpah, the maidservant of Leah, conceived. Ke eteke to Yaakov ion, and she bore to Jacob a son. Ke ipe Leah, and Leah said, and Tiki, I am in good luck. Tiki is in the Greek is the goddess of fortune, and it's used here for luck. Ke eponoma se to onoma avtu Gad, and she named his name Gad. In verse 12, Ke sineleven eti zelpha e paidhiski leas, and Zilpah, the maidservant of Leah, conceived again. These women aren't just having intercourse with him once, but going back and forth many times, and so it's definitely polygamy. Ke etika to Yaakov ion thevteron, and she bore to Jacob a second son. Verse 13, Ke ipe Leah, Leah said, Makaria ego, oti makariusi me e ginekas. Blessed am I, for the women declare me happy. Now I could have been, they declare me blessed. Ke ekalase to onoma avtu asir. And we can see another usage of this type of a passage right here in Luke 1:48. For he looked upon the low estate of his maidservant. For behold, from the present all generations shall call me Makariusi, blessed. So this usage of this word appears in the New Testament with Mary declaring herself blessed, and all the generations will actually call her blessed.